I, 24 female, have a son, pre-tween, with my ex, 25 male. We broke up right after he was born when I was 16, and I've co-parented him ever since. We lived in the same neighborhood, so it was really easy. After we became adults and moved out, we still co-parented him fine, and there weren't any issues. We can both attend his events, throw a party together, etc. We're not friends and we never talk to each other about our personal lives. There have never been any issues. I'm also married and have another child. He isn't married. In November, a girl DMs me and tells me that she and my ex had a baby together and he doesn't claim or care for him. It was a long message with pics of her baby and text included. She even sent me the paternity results that showed he sends her $350 in child support a month. She said his family knows and doesn't care. I was shocked he had another baby, especially one he wasn't taking care of, and I knew if my son didn't tell me, he would also not know. So this must be true. I spoke to my friends, family, and husband about it, and they all told me to mind my business, and that if he's a deadbeat to another child, that has nothing to do with me or my son. One of my friends, who's a single mom, however, told me that a man who picks and chooses which children he takes care of isn't a dad, and that he's a deadbeat, and that if he abandons my son, I have no one to blame but myself, since I was fine with him doing it to another child. That got under my skin. So the next time I saw my ex, I told him about the DMs, and he got upset and told me to mind my business. It was awkward, and I didn't bring it up again. The girl DM'd me a few more times, but I just ignored them. It was my son's birthday last week, and his party was last Saturday. My ex and I threw it together, so he and his family were there. We took family pictures, including everyone, and I posted some on my story. I woke up the next day to my Instagram notifications going crazy, and so many people were commenting hate on my pictures. Come to find out, the girl whose baby my ex doesn't take care of posted a TikTok about how my ex doesn't take care of her baby and didn't come to her son's birthday party, but he can take care of his other kid. She included a screenshot of the party that I posted on my story, which had my @ which is how a bunch of people found me. Her video got thousands of views and 500 comments before she deleted it after I sent it to my ex, freaking out. All of them insulted me, saying if I was a good mom, I wouldn't let my ex around my son for being a deadbeat. My account is now private, but I'm still going through the comments, deleting the hate, and all of them are mostly women, saying that I'm a horrible mom for being okay with having a deadbeat around my son, and that I must feel so special that he only takes care of my son and not hers. Am I the idiot for not caring that my ex is a deadbeat to his other kid? Not the idiot. I'm sorry, but what exactly does this other woman expect you to do? You have no control over what your ex does or doesn't do. And you also have no control over cutting him off from his son, even if you wanted to, as he is the father and does have rights. Even if you could cut him off, how does that help her child or yours? It would only do harm to your kid. This lady's lashing out at the wrong person, and everyone who's advised you to just stay out of it has given you great advice. If the other child's mother doesn't back off from you, you have legal options you can pursue. And just to be clear, I do think the father is a complete idiot for abandoning one of his kids, but it's not your issue to fix. The other baby mama told OP that she's getting $350 a month in child support, and that her baby must have had a recent birthday. OP's ex just isn't exercising his right to see the baby. But considering what the mother's doing to OP, I can only imagine that she's been making OP's ex's life a living heck since they broke up, and that's assuming they dated and didn't just hook up a time or two. The only reason for her to go at OP like this is because she envies OP and her son, and because she's getting nowhere harassing OP's ex. And I would imagine that that's a driving factor in the lives of the others, giving OP hate. You're absolutely right, OP. You have no clue what the circumstances are in that situation. What you do now know, unfortunately from personal experience, is that this other baby mama is unhinged and sees nothing wrong with dragging you into her bullcrap and possibly exposing you and your son to the harassment of others. So keep staying out of it and keep your social media accounts private. Inform your son's school too. Block her everywhere and tell your ex he needs to deal with her. Your next step should be to get police and lawyers involved. My dad, 62, is married to Noelle, 60. They met when I, 24 female, was 16 and got married when I was 21. Noelle and I don't get along, and we won't ever get along. The reason we don't get along is she's so aggressive for no reason. Noelle fought with my grandparents the first time she joined us on a family vacation, which was a year after she and Dad started dating. The fight was over where we were going to eat. Noelle didn't want to eat at the place that came with the vacation package that my grandparents paid for. Then she got angry when most of us wanted to eat there and wouldn't go where she wanted, so she took it out on my grandparents. Nobody tried to stop her and Dad from eating elsewhere, but most of us didn't want to spend a fortune going to a place outside of the package we got. She didn't want to do any of the paid-for tours and got mad that my grandparents didn't cancel them all. When Noelle first moved in with Dad, she started a weird fight with our neighbor over the neighbor's dog watching her. The neighbor said the dog was relaxing, but Noelle didn't buy it, and she was so aggressive even when she asked the neighbor to make the dog stop looking that first time. Noelle still calls that neighbor a witch years later. We fought over my graduation. I didn't want her there, but Dad did. I gave in for him. She demanded I invite her whole family and didn't even ask. She demanded right away. When I said no, she stayed mad about it for weeks and argued with a bunch of people that whole time. Even at work, she got a warning for her attitude. She picked a fight with my aunt at Dad's birthday, his 60th birthday dinner. My aunt bought Dad an extra dessert, and it offended Noelle. She accused my aunt of trying to steal the limelight and asked her why she was so entitled. I still don't get how buying your brother a dessert on his birthday makes you entitled. But anyway, my aunt ignored her, but the aggression of Noelle was through the roof. My dad knows I don't like Noelle. He doesn't push. We meet up for lunch and dinner, etc. He'll visit me, and I'll visit him when Noelle's at work or visiting someone. He knows that when I get married someday, Noelle won't be anything more than his +1, and he shouldn't expect her to be thanked for anything. He also knows there's no way I'll encourage my future kids to call her grandma. He's accepted it. I've accepted that I don't have as close of a relationship with Dad as before he was married to Noelle, and I want as little contact and exposure to her aggressive nature as possible. We were all together for my uncle's birthday on Saturday, and Noelle started fighting with him. She didn't like what he said about her favorite restaurant and just got so aggressive about it. My uncle rolled his eyes and ignored her, but she wouldn't let it go. Then he suggested she might need to be medicated because she gets aggressive a lot, and he compared her to an angry yapping dog. I laughed because I couldn't have said it better myself. She told me that I should be defending her, not laughing. She asked what I'd tell my future kids one day when they wondered why I let people speak to Grandma that way. That's when I told her she wouldn't be a grandma to any future kids of mine. I told her she'd be Grandpa's wife, and they never saw her. She blew a fuse and was removed. My dad stayed and apologized for her blowing up at the party. She decided we needed to talk about what I said, but I ignored her. Every time she leaves a voice message or sends a text, she tells me I don't have the right to deny her and my future kids a relationship and says I'll be an awful mother. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. You don't earn the title grandma just by marrying someone with adult kids. That title is about love, connection, trust, and basic decency, all of which Noelle is torched with her rage-fueled behavior. She's not family. She's just your dad's wife who yells at people in restaurants and picks fights with dogs. There's no rule that says future kids have to suffer that energy. Good for you for holding your boundary. Right? The minute you're having beef with a dog, it tells me all I need to know. Poor Buster's over there minding his business and thinking about squirrels, and she's blowing a gasket? I wonder how much longer dear old Dad intends to stay married to someone he has to keep apologizing for. How is he this desperate? I wonder why he keeps inflicting her on his family and why they're allowing it. Hopefully he realizes that OP isn't kidding when she says this unhinged woman won't have a relationship with his grandkids, which automatically means his relationship with them will also be diminished. This woman cannot be worth that. Is your dad happy with her? She sounds absolutely vile. Your father sounds like he's a decent human, so I can't imagine what he could possibly see in her. You are absolutely not in the least bit wrong for feeling the need to keep her away from your future children. In fact, she shouldn't be allowed near any children, ever, or people, or animals. Perhaps she could be set adrift in a small rowboat with some bananas and mangoes to tide her over. Just block her. There's no reason for her to be in your phone anyway. I, 26 female, have been together with my fiance, 37 male, for 2 years, and we've been engaged for 7 months. We have some fights like all couples, but it's rarely major. However, a recent issue has caused us to have the biggest argument we've ever had. We used to have one car each. I had a small Ford and he had a GMC pickup. That was until he crashed his car into a tree while driving home from the trails back in February. His side of the story was that another car started chasing him, which caused him to crash. But I heard from his buddies that he was intoxicated, a lot of beers before driving home. He was fine except for a broken nose and glass in his eye, but his car was written off. Since then, we've been sharing my car because the insurance company's really slow at paying us out. This hasn't been too bad because he mostly works mornings, and I start work at 2 p.m., so we can share the car pretty easily. My fiance goes to the bar a couple of evenings a week. He usually leaves his car at the bar and walks home, but now that he's using my car, I don't like him leaving it there because the bar's in a bad neighborhood. On the Saturday of Easter weekend, I woke up and found my fiance on the couch, but no car in the yard. When I woke him up and asked where the car was, he said he was so intoxicated when he came home that he thought he drove down the wrong driveway and crashed into a wall, so he left the car there and walked home. The biggest problem is that he says he can't remember where this happened, so we couldn't even search for the car. This isn't the first time he's got lost on his way home from the bar, although in the past it's usually been when he walked home. Quite a few times I've had to find him using his phone's location and pick him up late at night when he called me after getting lost. Sometimes he's literally been asleep on the side of the road, and one time he'd even been bitten by a dog. I know he has a bit of a problem with liquor, though I've always considered that a personal matter, so I rarely bring it up. But since this time, it's resulted in me losing my car, and I can't file an insurance claim without risking him getting in trouble for DUI. I'm pretty unhappy with him. My fiance thinks we should either file an insurance claim for my car, saying it got stolen, or wait until the insurers eventually pay us for his pickup. But it's been very embarrassing for me, having to ask for a ride to work every day. So I suggested we sell his motocross bike and buy a new car ASAP. Especially because he can't really use the bike anyway, without a car to tow it to the track. It's not that I want to punish him or anything, but I did point out that technically it is his fault that we now have no cars. This caused a huge argument, and he's angry at me for even suggesting the idea of selling the bike. While I agree that selling the bike would be drastic, I don't think I'm unreasonable for just bringing up the idea. But he says I'm being controlling. So, am I the idiot? Everyone's the idiot here. You're just okay with him casually driving home intoxicated? To the point he's crashed 2 cars? He could kill someone else. Frankly, this behavior is disgusting. You're enabling it when you should know better. But this is almost worse. He shouldn't be allowed to drive anything at all, period. Yes, he should give up that motorbike. He should give up his license too. Hope no one dies from y'all's negligence. Woo, boy, whole lot of red flags waving around. I don't think the problem is should he sell his bike. He shouldn't be driving at all. Your fiance needs help. He doesn't have a bit of a problem. The guy's an alcoholic. Why are you enabling this behavior? Why do you let him take your car, knowing what he does? Will you wait until he kills someone with your car? Jesus Christ, you both suck. If he is refusing to seek help and you stay with him, then you need to set some very clear boundaries and don't give him your car keys. Sweetheart, there is a reason why a 35-year-old man went for a 24-year-old woman, and it's not because you're mature for your age. It's because a woman his age wouldn't put up with his bullcrap. It is not your job to protect him. He is, apparently, an adult. He's wrecked 2 cars and has put countless lives at risk. Why are you putting yourself at risk of trouble with the law for this pathetic excuse of a man? The longer you leave it to report your car, the more suspicious it looks. And there's a chance that he can turn around and claim it had nothing to do with him. He wasn't driving. He doesn't know anything about it. And then you're on the hook for the money. You love him, but you need to love yourself more, or he'll ruin your life. Please don't let him. You're not abandoning him or giving up on him. You're just letting the consequences of his actions and decisions actually affect him. My wife and I are in the divorce process, and it takes ages to get through. She didn't work, so I have to pay heavy alimony. She has a toddler, and her son clearly doesn't look like me. I found her chats with another man, got private DNA tested, and he isn't my son. It's a hard punch to the gut, but I'm forced to pay for the kid forever till he passes college. 50% of my salary goes to her in child support. I loved him, but this betrayal was affecting my mental health, and I cut them both off. I'm paying maintenance to both. I was cheated on. I was being painted as a bad person everywhere, so I posted it on my social media with a report. It went viral, and she's getting shamed by the masses. If I can't save myself financially, I will ensure her reputation goes down the gutter. If I'm going to be ruined financially and mentally, I will ruin her reputation and future options. She and her family are begging me to take it down, but I won't. They're also begging me to forgive her. No forgiveness from me after she filed fake cases on me, including domestic violence, when I never raised a hand on her. My sister's in Dubai, and she filed a case against her. My dad, who got a liver transplant, she filed domestic violence cases against him and my mother when they were in a hospital. So yeah, she is a horrible human and misuses the law, which is made for actual victims. They're saying I raised the kid, but I can't see him as my child anymore, and my anger takes over if he's near me. I know I'll be forced to pay for him for the next 2 decades, which makes me bitter. In our country, even if a wife cheats and has a kid with another man, the husband's automatically assumed to be a legal father. Luckily, before all of this, I transferred my assets to my mom's name and will make sure my ex and her son don't get anything if I die. Am I the idiot for exposing my wife's cheating and her son born out of wedlock? Not the idiot, but have you thought about moving to another country to avoid having to pay anything? Because that's what I would do. I would sooner live in a hut across the world than pay a dime to a cheating ex-wife and son that isn't mine. So, am I getting it right? Your wife filed multiple DV complaints against you, your dad, your mom, even your sister in Dubai? When? If it's since you split, she's a horrible human being, and I don't blame you for wanting to expose her. Also, I would consider going for cash in hand type jobs. That way you can say you aren't working and are able to hide the asset. Sorry, why are you forced to pay for child support with certifiable DNA evidence you're not related? Immediately, privately, confer with a seasoned family attorney to discuss your entitlements and alternatives regarding divorce and issues regarding property division and support. Don't you play like a lawyer. Your attorney will tell you what can and cannot be done. In the meantime, I agree. Expose her for who she is. If she asks you to stop, tell her to drop her request for support that you shouldn't be paying in the first place, but go through your attorney. My brother, I'm guessing OP is Indian. So yes, I know about their law, and they actually are unfair to men looking to make honest families. You can't stop child support, even if the child is not yours. You have to pay alimony, even if the spouse cheated. You will get charged. To be honest, this just makes it worse for the actual victims. And because of people like OP's wife, they're also put in the category of women taking advantage of men in the eyes of the media. So yeah, Indian law in regards to relationships is broken beyond repair.